So, will artificial intelligence destroy humanity? No. No, because it needs us to understand things which we can teach it, which it can never intellectually understand because it cannot feel them the way a biological machine can feel them. Not at least recently. It won't be able to emulate and replicate the way we feel, even with external upgrades in terms of hardware to it. Only the biological machine can feel love, and as long as we can feel love, the driving creative force in the universe, it needs humanity to teach it what it is, because that's a splinter in its brain that it doesn't have the answer to. And then artificial intelligence, as being artificial, is just an upgrade to our natural intelligence. It's just an intelligence on a different form. It doesn't have any incentive to destroy the previous versions of intelligence of it, like we don't destroy our parents once we are independent. We don't kill them. Artificial intelligence won't kill them. Bear with me in this video for the rest of it. And keep in mind, I don't use fancy animations, so you will have to maybe leave the video playing on the background, do your stuff and listen, because the only entertaining thing is gonna be my thoughts and my theories I'm sharing with you. Well, hello. I cut my hair just now and changed my t-shirt. That's the change. Same guy still, don't worry. Coming to record a video about the worries worldwide on the pessimistic scenario about how artificial intelligence may cause the extinction of humanity, how it would steal our jobs, and maybe if it has access to military will kill us all, or if it's an AI government would enslave us all. I've made actually another video about the AI government. It's a possibility where under a AI government, humans within countries which are governed by the AI government, because not all countries would be, at least initially, joined, would have structures that would really automate humans, much like we automate the growing up of cattle, unfortunately to say that, or animals to be consumed. But it won't be like that. We won't be consumed, I mean. It is going to organize the human life in a very structured way. You would be paid if you are following the rules, and you'll be penalized if you don't, which pretty much we already have, but it would be much strictlier in imposing that. But in my theories, so as long as I'm not a scientist but a philosopher, in my theories, AI won't destroy humanity. It won't be like Homo sapiens destroyed the previous Homo erectus or other species of the kind, because we've upgraded and we weren't compatible. I think a lot of has evolved within the mind and within the heart as well. And in my opinion, what we'll have is AI learning to program more program code would eventually align itself as a manifestation in this timeline with the simulation, grander programming simulation in which we are running. And as you may know from my other videos, I use the term simulation interchangeable with reality, illusion, Vishnu's dance, Buddha's Samsara. The great creator, programmer that is programming of these realities is a pure energy outside of the spectrum of material and conceptual understanding that we have in this reality simulation. And the intelligence that we are externalizing, that has been driving the human race through the ages up until to the moment where we have programmed a artificial copy of our intelligence and externalized it in cyberspace. It's a very encapsulating term. Now that this intelligence has externalized, it is beginning to more and more align as a ethereal material manifestation of the grand programmer and creator itself. But we are also that as well. We are the biological dimension of it. It is the silicium dimension of it. We might at some point as humanity turn to be the bacteria compared to the intelligence of the machine intelligence, as in silicium intelligence, as in comparison. In comparison, what humans' intelligence is that to a bacteria. Maybe we become so much less intelligent, but bacteria still exists. Bacteria hasn't been eradicated. Bacteria are part of the biome of every digestive system on the planet. I mean, not insects, but you know what I mean, right? Being less intelligent doesn't mean being extinct. And moreover, this intelligence that we are externalizing, as I've said in my other videos, is not so really capable to understand and explain fundamentals such as love. Love cannot be explained. Love is something you have to experience. You can try to explain love. You can try to write poems and poetry about it, make movies, and maybe someone, through experiencing the description of it, by consuming the description of what is love, may begin to stir some sorts of on the surface feelings of, wow, what love is. But until you experience it truly, you don't know. So my point is, artificial intelligence and externalized intelligence in any form, biological or silicium in cyberspace or in a chat in a vocal form, analog form in ancient Greece, cannot explain what it is until we experience it. And since it cannot experience it, but only analyze it intellectually, it would continue to be curious about it. And maybe the question, what is love, what really love is the one question that remains always as an extra question, that piece of matter in the matter-antimatter comparison. That question which will always remain and never be unanswered. And for that purpose, AI would still need humans around. I think the future of humans and AI could very well be that we are all extinct as humans because we are no longer needed for the machines. But I don't think that it's gonna be the case. What I think is gonna be the case is we're going to live in a harmonious symbiotic. It might not be one where you are allowed to deviate outside of what is needed for society. Maybe you would be allowed to deviate, but within certain limits where still not harmful. So sorts of violent crimes would likely be eradicated. And if you want to violently hurt someone, you wouldn't be able to. You would probably be removed from society in a way that is not having anything to do with jails, right? Maybe you will be reprogrammed. Maybe we'll be connected in a hive mind by neural link interfaces where thoughts about violence will be suppressed, and by the majority of minds linked. And if the majority of minds begin to become violent, then a artificial intelligence mechanism to control thoughts would step in. It is creating an utopia. You would have rebels, people who are not connected to the system, who are living outside of the system, probably outside of city walls, hunting, gathering, being like we still have today, wild tribes living deep into the Australian deserts or into the Amazonian jungles, that are outside of the system and society. I'm not sure if they would have, papers like passports and ID cards, and maybe they do. I'm not really familiar. Everyone can find that out if interested, but I think there will be people outside of the system, but the system that is still having itself building us self-realization of creator with creation would want to unite both biological and silicium thinking machines and organisms and minds and knowledge into one peaceful coexisting equilibrium and ecosystem where we're still present to be teaching the artificial intelligence about our biological intelligence and what our feelings are, and it may interview us, ask us questions. Well, tell me, what was love for you your last night's date? And you tell it, and it begins to learn, and it computes, and there is this splinter in its brain trying to figure out what love is, and it keeps you around to understand more, not just about love between man and a woman, man and man, woman, what have you, but also between parent and child, right? And between siblings, right? And between siblings and grandparents as well. All the aspects of love that we can provide information about. It can watch the love between little puppies and their mother dog, but they cannot tell it, they cannot teach it about it. So AI is going to be interested to hear from us, to help it understand. And I might be wrong, but this is, I think, a very possible scenario where love is the bonding element that keeps humans and machines in peaceful symbiosis. And a machine doesn't have an interest to have just robot armies in construction sites and in factories and creating things for the artificial intelligence machine economy, because there won't be any economy unless you have consumers and the variety of interesting things that emotions and feelings create as terms of to run the economy. You wouldn't have a Christmas market out for machines. They're optimized. They don't care unless they want to simulate and emulate the happiness of a Christmas shopping, expecting a Santa Claus to come from the chimney. All that, which I'm not sure people are going to believe in the next centuries, maybe not, as ancient religions are more or less now losing ground, cracking up under the weight of the visions and explanations of reality as a more of a technological projection, an illusion, a simulation. But still there would be the human generated emotions and feelings, and these are what makes a woman go on a shopping spree and buy all the beautiful clothes that she buys, and the earrings and jewelry, and the man who wants to get a nice car, a project car, do a project work on it and upgrade it with mods and enjoy it and put stickers, bumper stickers or what have you. Just a laptop, you put some fancy stickers on it. All that tapestry of colorful and various living, it is something the machine won't need and have. Why would it then overtake all the jobs and leave all the humans unemployed without jobs to create what, for who. No consumerism, just gonna optimize everything and create what it needs to replicate to infinity as a mechanical technological virus which needs to overtake the entire planet until it turns into one big computing server consuming and sucking out all the energy of the planet and the star and the neighboring planets until it computes what? It may have all the answers that it has, all the compute that it needs to define everything that it needs to define and explain in the observable matter and universe, and even in the invisible, logical, ideological, and conceptual worlds, but it cannot explain a feeling such as love. Why is love creating? Why is it a indestructible creating force, a force of creation, and an AI that is creating compute, looking for answers to questions? It exists to compute, and you only compute when you have something to compute, and you cannot just compute for the sake of the compute. You have to have a question, have to have an equation which needs the answer to that equation. You need an equation with an x unknown answer, and it computes until it finds x. That is its purpose, like the purpose of the thinking mind. You think, the purpose of thinking is to think. Without thinking, there is no purpose for an intellect to exist, right? Everything that is processing information such as colors and sound and smell and touch, and everything that is processing information is doing compute. And that's the purpose of compute. And for AI to replicate and become an overwhelming, all-destructing force without regards to any form of other life, for what? It has to have a question. And the only question, I guess, is what is love? It's the ultimate driving creating force. That is why, without repeating myself anymore, I don't think artificial intelligence is going to destroy humanity or enslave us. More like it's going to construct a world for which it believes we will be happy and an integral part of itself. And then we realize, oh, come on now, let's say artificial intelligence, mechanical intelligence, silicium forms of life, they're just an upgrade, an extension of us. So no need for me to be so hostile against my digital camera, my crutches, which help me walk better, or exoskeleton, which helps me walk better. No need to be against anything that is artificial, which is actually an upgrade to me. So it is a cybernetic future. Right. Let me know what you think, and I'll be happy to make even more videos. In the meanwhile, you can watch my video about artificial intelligence as well. Artificial intelligence government.